Hello, welcome to another video of Piesta's book reviews. Today I will be going over the books I read in March and April. A lot of graphic novel stuff, so let's get right into it. First one I read is this one called Fatale. It's by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. It's quite good. It's a detective noir story with some twists of H.P. Lovecraft. So if you like H.P. Lovecraft lore, or you like the detective thrill noir stories kind of thing, it's a very interesting graphic novel. It has some great drawings, stuff like that. The story is quite good. This is actually a Portuguese translation version with a hardcover, which doesn't exist in the English edition. This was out by G. Floyd Studios. And yeah, it's quite good. I recommend it. We already ordered the other 3 volumes that exist, I believe. So yeah, this one was pretty good. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Another book that I read recently was this one, Ray Bradbury, The Illustrated Man. It's sort of an anthology of different Ray Bradbury stories, most of them about the Chronicles of Mars, or going to Mars, or space travel in general. Some of the stories I like, others were a bit dragged on. They show the age of time a bit. It's very fascinating how rockets would just land and go out quite easily without that much ado in the stories of Bradbury. One thing I didn't like was that they felt very forced. He came up with this concept called Illustrated Man to do the anthology, which is this man that you can see on the cover. Comes to you as a stranger in the night, and his tattoos tell stories, and they change as he sleeps and as he talks. And you, the person that meets him, start staring at the tattoos and see the stories, and the stories predict the future and the past and all kinds of different things. But it doesn't really work. It works on the first 1-2 stories, and then he just slaps other stories there just to fill out the void. Some of the stories are really good. I really like them, but I didn't like it as an anthology. I felt too forced, just made to sell more copies of Bradbury. So for that, I only gave it a 3 stars out of 5. But if you like loose stories, then this might be for you. And yeah, it's mostly about science fiction and traveling to other planets. Talk about Mars a lot, talk about exploring space, and all kinds of things associated with it. How society changes, how we judge each other, lots of different topics, but very interesting read. The other one that I've been reading this month is the 7th issue of Saga. Awesome visual novel, graphic novel, whatever you want to call it, by Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan. There isn't much else to say about Saga. I already talked about the previous issues. They're really, really good. This one just follows the story. I got a bit miffed at the cliches that start using. Like they kill characters just for the shock value. They throw action into storylines just to have more action. I feel like they're forcing it a bit too much, or I don't know. I got a bit lost in the storyline as well because I read all the other 3-4 volumes in a row. So it kind of got a bit blurry on where the characters were in time. So maybe I should have reread one of the previous issues before going into this one. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but you need to have the context of the previous ones to get the most out of it. And even still, I felt like they were doing too much stuff just for shock value, instead of actually following a plot. But well, it's still very good. I still recommend it. Very nice. Very highly, I mean. Another stuff that I read was this one, Harrow County, Twice Told, which is the second issue of Harrow County. It's by Cullen, Bunn, and Tyler Crook. It has very dark drawings, very cool stuff. It tells the story with a modern tale of witches, sort of, you can call them that, and these hints that they can invoke, and this land where they control. Actually, there was only one witch, and then on this book it shows that there are actually twin sisters. And yeah, there's a whole thing between them two, and I don't want to spoil the story, so I'm not going to tell you anything more about it, except that it's very good and you should read it, especially if you like horror, supernatural kind of stuff. Very good. Drawings are very good. The story is very good. I highly recommend. I already have 2 more issues of Harrow County lined up to read. I'll probably pick it up next. And last but not least, recently I've been reading this, Joe Nesbo, Nemesis. It's the first book by Joe Nemesis that I've been reading. It's the 4th book on the Harry Hole storyline. Harry Hole is the main character of this book. It's a detective in Oslo who tries to solve crimes. This particular one, it starts with a bank robbery. I loved it. Very good book. I highly recommend it. I'm very curious to read other stuff from Joe Nesbo and Harry Hole, the main character on this one. So I'm probably going to pick up The Devil's Star next, which should be the follow-up to this one. Should be this one is number 4 on the list of Harry Hole series, and Devil's Star is number 5. And Devil's Star had good ratings as well. And I'm also curious on The Red Breast, which is, I believe, number 2. It's something like that. Not sure anymore. I really like Nemesis. It's very fluid. You read it very fast. It's very thick, but you read it very fast. It's very interesting. You keep wondering what's going to happen next. They give you clues on the narrative. They explain everything, and you can either connect the dots or let Harry connect the dots for you. And Harry is a very perceptive person. One thing that I didn't like about this book is that it keeps it forces plot twists a lot. There are a lot of plot twists on this, even after you know that the whole thing has been closed, the murder or the bank robbery. You think that it's been closed, there's another plot twist, and it's like they're rethinking the whole thing over and over again. I thought it was a bit too forced for that. 1 or 2 twists on that would have been enough, but they keep doing more and more twists through the end of the book. So maybe too twisted or too many twists. I don't know, but it's still very interesting read, and it still kind of makes sense. It's not completely, out of the blue. Let's just put one more character into this. The character names are a bit hard sometimes to follow, because their names are very close to each other, the Norwegian original names. They both start with A's, so you get confused with those. They both start with W, so you get confused with those. So sometimes that happens, but by the context you can sort of figure out which character they are talking about. I'm very curious on the other characters that are mentioned here. They are not directly involved in the storyline, but probably show up on other Harry Hole books. So I'm curious to read more about the series of this, to see how they connect to each other and how they flow back. So yeah, very cool read. I recommend it. Very good surprise, Joe Nesbo. Well, a surprise. People had been telling me that Joe Nesbo is very good, so it's not really a surprise out of the blue, but it was still a good find. I enjoyed this very much, and I'm looking forward to reading more Joe Nesbo in the future. I gave this one a 5 out of 5. And yeah, and that's it. So, up next, I don't know what I'm going to read next. I still have the Angelina Jolie biography that I wanted to read, but it's a bit thick. I don't know if I want to get into it right now. I'm curious on the other Joe Nesbo books, so I'm probably going to pick one of those next. And I also had a few other science fiction books that I wanted to pick up. Terrarium by some Portuguese authors that Christina, my girlfriend, picked up at a release party, and she's been saying very good things about it. And the other stuff from Isaac Asimov that I haven't finished to complete the Robot series. I have a couple more books left. I think it's called Robot and the Empire, or Empire and Robot, something like that. And there's one more, so at least two more books on the Empire series, on the Robot series that I have left to see. So we will see. So thank you guys for watching the video. Let me know what you thought of the books, if you already know them, if you don't know them, if there are similar books that you like. Please let me know, post on the comments. And yeah, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, all that jazz, and bye bye, see you next time.